a lot of fun. But Jay has reported that David Wilcock's biographer named Win Free, that's W-Y-N, Win Free, died on April 18th. So just, what, 3 days ago? As I'm recording this, 3 days ago. So it seems incredibly odd that first his biographer dies, and then David Wilcock dies. It's reported that it's suicide. But how do we know? We weren't there. It could be that, they got to him. Could be they shot him. They killed him. Or that they possibly they use like audio projection weapons into his skull to make him, go crazy or something through energy weapons. There's...
The UFO research community is in shock after reports surfaced about the sudden death of author and Ancient Aliens personality David Wilcock. The situation began unfolding on April 20th, 2026, when Boulder County Sheriff's Office responded to a reported mental health crisis at a residence on Ridge Road in Nederland, Colorado, an area known to be Wilcock's home. According to official statements, deputies arrived to find a man outside the property holding a weapon. Authorities say the individual ultimately used the weapon on himself and was pronounced dead at the scene. While officials have not formally confirmed the identity, the news quickly gained traction after U.S. Representative Anna Paulina Luna shared a public message appearing to acknowledge Wilcock's passing. In her statement, she expressed condolences to his family and highlighted the impact he had on millions of followers around the world. Adding to the mystery and emotional weight of the moment, fans have pointed out the timing, noting that Wilcock's reported death comes shortly after the passing of other well-known figures in the UFO and disclosure space, including Nick Pope and Eric Von Daniken. Perhaps most chilling is Wilcock's final message to his audience. Just 1 day before the incident, he shared a reflective post reminding followers that the Creator is within and emphasizing the idea of a loving universe, words that now carry a deeper, more haunting meaning. Known for his bold and often controversial claims, including his belief that he was the reincarnation of Edgar Cayce, Wilcock became a prominent voice in the so-called disclosure movement. His influence, whether debated or embraced, leaves behind a legacy that continues to resonate with a global audience.
So hello, my name is TALAN GODFREY. I'm a real gang stalking victim, a real targeted individual. Gang stalking had nothing to do with the supernatural, the paranormal, the metaphysical. Gang stalking had nothing to do with astral projection, psychic ability. Gang stalking had nothing to do with no New Age, bibbidi bobbidi boo, Harry Potter, hocus pocus, Disney crap. Gang stalking had nothing to do with no chosen one, and gang stalking had nothing to do with no narcissism. So just be careful of the fake gang stalking victims. Be careful of the fake gang stalking victims. These women right here, Stephanie the Seeker, and this chick right here, Stephanie the Seeker, and this chick right here, these are two of the biggest fake gang stalking victims right here. There's so many of them, but it's just this one. These people are nobody's gurus. They're nobody's leaders. These freaking females. These are fake gang stalking victims. See, this is Popular Mechanics magazine, Psychoelectronic Weapons Effects. Dr. Robert Duncan called gang stalking informational warfare technology. Dr. Robert Duncan called gang stalking informational warfare technology. This gang stalking under this right here called psychoelectronic weapons effects. Other people call gang stalking total individual control technology. Okay, total individual control technology, total informational warfare technology, and you got psychoelectronic weapons effects. Okay, These are just more words for gang stalking. But then you got Stephanie the Seeker and this woman right here. Stephanie the Seeker, these are fake gang stalking victims. These two females, just watch out for them. Just watch out for the fakes. And Stephanie the Seeker, I can't stand this woman, right? I cannot stand this carbon-based life form. So let's go to page. Let's go to page. And I will talk about David Wilcock. Just hold on for a second. Just hold on for a second. Stephanie the Seeker. Stephanie the Seeker is so fake. She said that this gang stalking stuff was spiritual. People called her out. And then she started talking about, some electronic harassment. You see, there's a dude named Terry Joe Jr. back in the early 2000s, like in early 2020, right? During COVID. Terry Joe Jr. was talking just a little tiny about, just little teeny tiny stuff about what gang stalking victims go through, and then he would wrap that little teeny tiny speck of what gang stalking victims will go through, and then he would wrap it around with a whole bunch of bullshit. Okay, wrap it around a whole bunch of big old dinosaur turds, or okay, Jurassic Park. I can't spell shit. See, that's basically what Terry Joe Jr. was doing. Yep.
That is one big pile of shit.
You see, that was basically what Terry Joe Jr. was doing. This teeny tiny bit of what gang stalking is, what gang stalking victims will go through, and wrapping around a whole bunch of religion and spirituality. Okay. A whole bunch of people called him out, and then he stopped doing it. But then a whole bunch of people just came in and started taking over his job. And one of the people is Stephanie the Seeker. She's one of them. And you got this woman. Both of these two women will never bring up this. Okay, they will never bring it up. They won't talk about no frequencies. They will just say the word frequencies. They won't talk about anything scientific. They won't talk about anything that you can nail them on. But Stephanie the Seeker, she's one of the biggest fake gang stalking victims. Now, this is this woman right here. Now, let's look at her channel. Now, this woman said this gang stalking stuff was spiritual. She got called out, and now she's slowly moving to naming some technology. Remember, Stephanie the Seeker told her audience that this stuff was spiritual, this gang stalking stuff was spiritual, and now to get a camera. And then she, months later, said, oh, well, get this camera. She never said that these cameras can be hijacked with some type of frequency. She never said that. Everybody else knows that they can shut down your camera if you're filming them. Not only they can move your limbs independently of you, but they can shut down your camera. She ain't gonna talk about it. She's gonna talk about Jesus. Oh gosh darn day. But this is why I don't like these fake gang stalking victims, because they lie. Now this woman has a nonprofit. No, I think she got it now. This woman has a nonprofit, but at the same time, this channel provides encouragement and practical spiritual tools, not medical, professional medical, or legal help. This channel, yeah, it is a device. She's lying. She's a psyop. But this channel, Stephanie the Secret channel, there it is right there. This channel provides this encouragement and practical spiritual tools, not professional medical or legal help. But she has a nonprofit. What does her nonprofit gonna talk about? Bullshit? Yeah, exactly. This is Stephanie the Singer right here, fake gang stalking victim. And you can see what she does. If she don't get the views, she put that video under members only, so you can't see it. And this is another thing that she does. She will bring up this dude. She just ripped off this Dr. John Hall's video. Just ripped it off. That should be copyright violation right there. But what Stephanie the Secret will do is just add Jeffrey Epstein in her video's thumbnail, and not one time we'll talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Not one pedophile was ever spoke about in this video, but she did it right here, and she did it right here. She just add Jeffrey Epstein in the video thumbnail. Talk about gang stalking and witchcraft. Does this look like witchcraft to you? Did this popular mechanics magazine, Psycho-Electronic Weapons Effects, talked about no freaking witch? Did it talk about witchcraft? No, it talked about science and technology. But she knows that she can't make no money if people talking about the science and technology. Okay, so this woman, these are just women off the street. These are just women off of the street. Okay, they came out of nowhere. But we learned from the quartering what the issue going with the quartering. Some YouTuber named the quartering. This YouTuber named the quartering was he had somebody who's a friend. He had a friend who worked at YouTube, and the quartering would just call up his friend, and that friend will delete your channel like that, like that. The quartering. Hold on. I will get to David Wilcock real quick. The quartering. This dude, according to all the crap that was going on with him just recently, like I said before, if you talk about him in a certain way that he disapprove of, like I said before, he has friends at YouTube. They and those friends at YouTube will delete your channel. People were just calling him out on his bull crap, and they've been doing it for the last couple days right now. And he was walking around as a fake MAGA conservative, and then a whole bunch of stuff got found out, and people knew how they just found out about him. But just saying that. But I don't want my channel being. But ooh, this dude. Ooh, this dude. Okay, but you see, there's a lot of fake influencers and personalities on YouTube. There's a lot of fake gang stalking victims, rifting. Just be careful of the fakes. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's talk about David Wilcock. Now, David committed suicide today or last night. And it was kind of weird because you have all those 12 energy scientists. No, I'm sorry, 11. I thought it was 8, but now this is up to 11. 11 dead energy scientists. 11 of them. And it's all weird because Agenda 2030 is coming up, and we got Agenda 2050. We got the Georgia Guidestones is still doing it. You got this war against Iran, and a lot of people saying that because of this war in Iran and Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz and whatever you pronounce it, it's stopping people from getting fertilizer for food, so people are not growing the next season's crop. So a whole bunch of people in the third world are going to starve. This is going to put everybody in some type of austerity mode. These countries, just like COVID, are going to be put into austerity mode. Okay? It's going to be really bad if they don't open up and get that fertilizer. A whole bunch of people are going to die. A whole bunch of people are not going to be making these computer components. A whole bunch of people are not going to get their gasoline and their diesel. Everything is going to go sky high in price. And it's really bad. And now a whole bunch of free energy scientists have been disappeared in the last the last 2 years, and people are talking about it. And this dude ended up dead. Now, this dude, David Wilcock, this was 3 days ago, so he was alive 3 days ago. He was talking about Trump. Hopefully that's not what did him in. But anyway, this dude been talking about free energy for years on the Gaia network. Gaia. There it is, under the Gaia network, right? That's Gaia. I'm sorry about that. Gaia. Under the Gaia network, and you go to Gaia, he ain't nowhere to be seen on this website. Did he help create this website? Did he help create Gaia? And he ain't nowhere to be seen on this website. I don't know what happened. But he used to be all over this. I remember him on Ancient Aliens. This dude was on Ancient Aliens right here. And now what happened? He's dead, dude. And you have a whole bunch of free energy scientists are disappearing. I had to watch this. I don't know. I had to watch this, but I don't know. I will put this video, a little bit of this video in this one right here. Like, this dude's dead. David is dead, dude. Free energy scientist. Let's go to history. History. Okay, let's open up history. And let's watch a little bit of Fox News real quick. That's TNC. Hold on for 1 second.
Investigation into the mysterious death or disappearance of 11 scientists deepens. And now House Oversight Chair James Comer is worried something shady is happening. Listen.
It does appear that there's a high possibility that something sinister is taking place here. We've asked all those agencies, the Department of Energy, NASA, the Department of War, to all share information with us so that we can see if we can put it together and find any missing links to try to solve what's going on here, because it's very unlikely that this is a coincidence.
Wow. Former FBI special agent and Fox News contributor Nicole Parker joins me now. Nicole, that is quite a powerful statement from the Oversight Committee chair. You can't just say things willy-nilly, loosey-goosey.
Okay, whatever. Okay, we know Fox News ain't gonna do crap. They ain't saying nothing really. But anyway,
the White House called
11
for answers after 11 American scientists with ties to nuclear and space research have been either reported missing or confirmed dead in a series of incidents some are calling mysterious. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying, quote, "The White House is actively working with all relevant agencies and the FBI to holistically review all of the cases together and identify any potential commonalities that may exist." Here to discuss, retired FBI supervisory special agent and Fox News contributor James Galliano. James, good morning. So great to have you.
And then there's a chemical leak in Washington, West Virginia.
Back everyone here too, live now
Kills
from
two.
Fox. I want to take you out live right now to West Virginia. The governor, as well as other state officials, coming together to talk about a plant chemical leak that killed 2 people, unfortunately, and injured.
Well, that's really messed up, man. Sorry about that. Okay. But yeah, man, some weird
The
stuff.
White House
there.
calling for answers after 11 American scientists with.
I'm trying to find the one with the date. Hold on. But did David Wilcock just committed suicide last night or earlier today? There is some weird stuff. That's all I'm just saying. So you got the Georgia Guidestones, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050, and then people just trying to keep us on the petrodollar. So when these people get ready for that new world order, AI, global governance, beast system, whatever they call it, when they're ready to unleash it on us, we had nothing but to accept it because everything is tied to oil. Well, you can just get, a Tesla, but what powers the batteries? What powers the batteries? Oh, you can get nuclear, but they ain't building no plants. They ain't building no new ones. And why do we need nuclear energy?
The President's Energy Secretary says an investigation
when we can have free energy, And what about all those scientists from the 11 dead ones to the free energy scientists in the 1920s? I remember documentaries from the early 2000s when YouTube was free tube. YouTube was free tube. You could talk about anything on free tube back in the early 2000s. It was documentaries talking about dead energy scientists back in the day. Someone needs to find those old documentaries.
Missing last June. Anthony Chavez, a retired worker from the same lab, went missing a month prior. Jason Thomas led a chemical biology team and was found dead this past March. Frank Maywald, an engineer from NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, also on the list. In February, retired Air Force Major General William Neal McCasland, who oversaw some of the military's most advanced and highly classified research systems, went missing. His wife said he'd been experiencing what he called a mental fog before vanishing from his home, leaving his phone and prescription glasses behind. Members of Congress pressing for answers.
Hopefully with our bully pulpit.
And then you have David Wilcock dead, and then this dude ended up dead, who used to talk about all this stuff.
For you,
Dead.
I can only offer advice, but you certainly don't want to listen to your daddy. We've seen that for a long time, so go ahead and grease up those.
Yeah.
take down the InfoWars crew and their leader.
So just be careful, just be careful. There's some weird stuff going on here.
They have become far.
Said that, a man came out of his house or was in front of his house with a weapon, and then that he turned the weapon on himself and killed himself. So that's the official report. Now, David Wilcock, as you know, is someone I interviewed quite a few times, and the last interview.
So I'm just going to put this in the video. I'm not going to watch it. But if you want to, there it is right there. Now, this website right here that you're looking at right now, this website is claiming to be shut down by the end of the month or earlier. And if you go to this right here, let's scroll all the way down, click COVID, look. The weird stuff with COVID-19. We all know what it was. Where's this website? Here it is. This page right here talked about a little bit of what gang stalking is. They said that gang stalking, that we are a node in somebody's AI global governance, AI matrix, beast system, the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Things. We are a node. They can just find us in the matrix and then send us pain or track us and do weird stuff to us because they're allowed to do it because we're nothing but human garbage according to what system and the person that they put us into the system. It's somewhere in here, I don't know. But if I were you and you want to learn about gang stalking, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to have to go through all this dude's website, and I should have done it back in 2024, 2025, early 2026, but now I got a couple days to do it.
They called it conspiracy. Said it was too extreme, too unbelievable, too far outside the mainstream to ever be taken seriously.
Yeah. Oh my God. You remember COVID? You remember that COVID, man. Let's go to the COVID history, open up page, COVID. I'm trying to find the official report back in the day that actually proved all that stuff was going on with the COVID. They all knew, and they blamed it on China, said that this COVID, the virus came from China. It didn't come from China. It came from Fort Detrick, but this COVID vaccine was real bad. Ooh, and they knew it, dude, and they knew it. And now you got the war against Russia using Ukraine as a proxy. Now we're going to war against Iran. Then you got the BRICS nation. Then you got the petrodollar. Then you got Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050. You got the Georgia Guidestones. You got Trump, seemingly with that Albert Pike 3 letters thing. I mean, we're in a lot of trouble because nobody got punished for the crimes that they committed. You remember the weird stuff with what do you call it? High fructose corn syrup and all the nasty poison they were putting in our food to destroy our bodies. Like high fructose corn syrup will, over time, unless you got good genes, like you got some good genes. I mean, that high fructose corn syrup was going to destroy your livers. They knew about high fructose corn syrup, how dangerous it is for certain people with weak livers. They knew. They knew a whole bunch of other stuff in the food. Bill Gates, polio vaccine, causes polio, I mean, they were just trying to lower our numbers. We're in trouble. The weird stuff with Jeffrey Epstein, they protected Jeffrey Epstein and all those men. And one of the men in the Jeffrey Epstein file worked for UCLA as a neuroscientist. COVID-19 vaccine was in the Jeffrey Epstein files, and way before it happened. So they knew. Google AI said that's not true, but Google AI been caught lying so many times it's not even funny. Yeah, we in a load of trouble. The Gardasil vaccine, that was bad. I mean, they've been trying to lower our numbers for a really long time. And you remember what happened with all those food and other types of all those plants dealing with food with just exploding, catching fire, planes crashing into them. We're in trouble, that's all I'm going to say. But David Wilcock is dead. He was alive 3 days ago. This was his last video.
Sideburn, son. Go ahead and be a weird curly-haired Elvis impersonator.
11 dead scientists, and David Wilcock has committed suicide last night or earlier this morning.
I don't really give a crap. You just do whatever the hell you want. Because I knew you stopped listening to Daddy a lot.
So, you, everybody else have a good day. We are in some trouble. Andra, I just want to say that I love you and I miss you and I think about you all the time. And I'm going to call the rest of your family members today. I'm going to stay here. Hopefully, I can put some more videos on YouTube. We're in some trouble. We are in a whole bunch of trouble with this data centers, with this AI, the AI global governance, the AI beast system, the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Things, this gang-stalking now. Go to Bandai Video, look for that in the moment. Look at that person's series of videos. Find what you want from Alex Jones's website, Band.video. Hopefully he's still there, but in the next 2 weeks, but I don't know. But we in a load of trouble. I can't believe this dude's dead. This dude was on Ancient Aliens
time
back
ago.
then.
Yeah, I'll either stretch it for 3 or 4 nights, and it's really, really tough to do that because when you recook it, it gets overdone.
Holy crap, dude. Andra, I just say I love you, I miss you, and everybody else have a good day. This dude's dead. I'll ban that video from Mike Adams. I'll put the first 10 minutes into this video. Everybody else, have a good day. Let's see time and date. Oh my god, that COVID. Time and date. Time and date right here. Everybody.
So this is a tribute recording to David Wilcock, who is no longer with us. It was reported in mainstream press, although nobody who knows David believes this, but it's been reported that he killed himself in an act of suicide outside his home in, I think it was Nederland, near Boulder in Colorado, you know, high altitude, snowy town up the mountains from Boulder. And that apparently I guess it was the sheriffs said that there was a mental health call. I don't know who called or why, but they showed up and they said that, you know, a man came out of his house or was in front of his house with a weapon, and then that he turned the weapon on himself and killed himself. So that's the official report. Now, David Wilcock, as you know, is someone I interviewed quite a few times. And the last interview I had with him was, I believe, in 2022. And I actually want to play a little bit of that for you here. And the title of that interview was David Wilcock Talks About Exotic Materials, Alien Tech, and the Defeat of the Anti-Human Globalists. Now, importantly, you need to understand that this is happening in the context of apparently 10 or 11 other scientists, like high-level people, PhD physicists working on energy technology that have been mysteriously killed in the last few months. And then on top of that, Jay Widener, who knew David Wilcock very well, and I know Jay. I worked with Jay to produce one of the, myself and Ed Group, we did a program for Gaiam one season many years ago. And Jay was there, and he's the one who brought us into the studio to do that series, which was a lot of fun. But Jay has reported that David Wilcock's biographer, named Win Free, that's W-Y-N, Win Free, died on April 18th. So just, 3 days ago? As I'm recording this, 3 days ago. So it seems incredibly odd that first his biographer dies, and then David Wilcock dies. It's reported that it's suicide. But how do we know? We weren't there. It could be that, they got to him. Could be they shot him. They killed him. Or that they possibly they use like audio projection weapons into his skull to make him, go crazy or something through energy weapons. There are a lot of possibilities here, but David Wilcock had just done a podcast a couple of days ago, and I've seen part of it, where he was thanking the cosmos for every day of life. And he even mentioned that there have been deaths of other, science-related people looking into exotic energy technologies and things like that. So understand, too, that the last time I spoke with David Wilcock, he was telling me about, apparently he had acquired like an aircraft hangar. I don't even recall where it was, some kind of aircraft hangar, and was involved in some kind of research on propulsion systems or exotic aircraft. I don't remember the details, actually. It's been a few years. But he had acquired this, some kind of facility. I guess it was an old abandoned hangar, and that he was working with a number of people on some kind of aircraft. That's all I recall from that. And then I never heard of anything coming of that. Now, David Wilcock, he was into a lot of different areas of intrigue, cosmic things, Edgar Casey, reincarnation. He did a book with Winfrey, and I guess that's spelled W-Y-N-N, actually, so correction there. He did a book with Winfrey about the reincarnation of Edgar Casey. And, he knew about spirituality. I mean, he was featured on Gaiam for many, many years. He was probably best known as sort of a UFO expert, but he was into ancient civilizations and alien technologies, exotic tech, all kinds of things like that. And for most of the people who have ever seen his work or followed his work or read his books or what have you, they don't believe that he killed himself. And I'm very skeptical about that as well, because, for all the reasons that I'm mentioning here. So, David Wilcock is apparently, he's passed away at this point. The official reports are not believed by most people who follow David's work. David was not loved by everyone, but who is, especially if you're into so many areas of controversy, etc. Like mainstream scientists probably despised him, but, those scientists are also the ones pushing toxic depopulation jabs on the world, so you can't trust them anyway. But I'm very saddened by this, and I enjoyed the times that I spoke with David, both on interviews and also privately. Over the years, I spoke with him privately a number of times about a number of different topics and some of the things that he was working on and doing. And my sense is that he was pretty lonely, being there in Ned, living alone, obviously, it seems like that's the case. And he was doing some music with his guitar, and but he was also, even though I got the sense that he felt lonely, he was also still very productive. He was producing things. He was doing podcasts. He was doing broadcasts. He was writing. He was creating, and that's what he loved to do. So, that doesn't require a bunch of people, especially these days, with the help of, modern technology. You can be a one-person content machine. So, David was doing that. My understanding is, or at least my impression is, he was doing what he wanted to do. And he just didn't have a lot of people around him on that journey recently in the last few years. And there's nothing wrong with that. So bottom line is, I don't know. I haven't spoken with him for quite some time. It's been maybe 2 years, I'm guessing, since I've spoken with him. And I don't even know why it's been so long. I would have welcomed speaking with him. I didn't like cut him off, or he didn't cut me off or anything. We're both just busy. There are lots of people that I won't speak to for years, and then we'll do an interview together or something like that. It's not unusual, in other words, to not speak to somebody in this industry for a couple of years and then to reconnect and do an amazing show or something, you know, because there's just so many amazing people. You can't just call up everybody every week and just, let's have a chat. You know, I mean, you wouldn't have any time to do anything. So I didn't speak to him for a while, and then I find out that he's passed away. So I'm very sad about that. I will play for you some of my last interview with him here, where he's talking about exotic materials and such, and alien technology. And, one more thought before I wrap this up. Some people think that he was killed because there's about to be some alien disclosure, which, you know, even Trump talked about something about we're going to release all the UFO files, whatever. I don't believe that. You're not even releasing the Epstein files. So I don't believe any of that. I do believe the government wants a cosmic false flag event to pretend that there's contact with aliens, to explain away, you know, the collapse of the dollar or the end of energy or whatever, you know, plot that they have for global human extermination. I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of alien stories. And maybe, the theory is, maybe they wanted to get rid of people like David Wilcock before that, because Wilcock could dismantle those, you know, the fake false flag, the alien false flags or whatever, maybe. Or that he knew who was behind it, or maybe Wilcock would recognize something that was being used to project this false narrative onto the population as part of an anti-human extermination agenda, you know. So the theory is they got rid of David Wilcock because he knew too much, essentially. I don't know if that's true, but that's what a lot of people are thinking. So look, of course, you're welcome to your own theories. And there's going to be 1,000 different theories of what happened here. But we missed David Wilcock, and I wish I had interviewed him more recently.
This is Dabu7. And at this current moment in time, we have a bunch of questions swirling around David Wilcock. I will pin anything I find later in the comment section to add to this. But what we know thus far is not a lot of confirmation. And it's kind of weird that someone would die. You would have colleagues and people in prominent positions out there speaking on this, tweeting on this, like Rep. Anna Paulina Luna had tweeted out and posted they had just learned of the tragic passing of David Wilcock. Her and many others taking to social media saying he has passed. Now, when you look at his last post himself, it says how he slept miraculously well, and he was speaking on the image, the AI image of Trump that was put out. And he also put out a final video stream, which you can see on the left. That's a screenshot there on the left from that stream, where he seemed to be in decent spirits, although we all know he was battling some things in life, as everyone does, but he just went through a divorce recently. He didn't seem suicidal in any way. He actually has a post from a couple years ago, from December 11th, that says that he would never be suicidal. He's not suicidal, that he appreciates every day in life. And he even says that in this last clip about himself. And we'll play this real quick.
I'm excited to be here. You know, every day that I have on earth is a gift and a blessing, and I'm very grateful for that because, frankly, people are disappearing. Scientists are going missing. Now they're saying they're going to investigate this. The president himself is saying they're going to look into this and see if anything's going on. It's a little bit scary. I got to say, it's a little bit scary, but you guys knew that I might still show up even though it was last minute and I've had a really rough week. Like, you know, that's kind of like every week, but somehow we keep on making it through all of this.
And those are his words there. Thankful for every day. And you could hear him sniffling. Not sure if he was crying before the stream or what, dealing with stuff. A lot of questions surrounding this. So, how come there's no confirmation if he's dead? How come Wikipedia doesn't list anything on a death? How come no major outlet out there, CBS, NBC, CNN, anything like that, there's not an article, a word, anything on it. Some people saying, did he fake his death? And of course, conspiracies flying. If he's alive, why hasn't he cleared this up? Why hasn't he simply posted again? Because he has to see this. It's out there everywhere. And again, why has the mainstream not officially came out and said a single word about it? Well, let's back it up a bit. What's caused all this? Well, the mystery surrounding all this popped up here on the 20th. There's still no official confirmation whether the Boulder County Sheriff's report was about Wilcock's death. The alleged suicide narrative has already stirred a heated debate online. His friends and followers say that he was never in favor of taking his own life. And what triggered all these rumors? Well, the speculation began after an investigation was prompted in Boulder County in Colorado, and it was made public on Monday, April 20th, 2026. The Boulder County Sheriff's Department reported that a man in the midst of a mental health crisis died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound outside his house near the 1400 block of Ridge Road, Colorado, while the identity has yet to be officially revealed. The location details in online post left people convinced that it's him. So this is all speculation. And why the secrecy? Why the secrecy for so long here, especially someone like this? I mean, wouldn't they want to come up and clear this all up? So neither Wilcock's family nor representatives have publicly verified his death. What is up with that? Okay? Boulder County officials have not revealed the victim's name. And he's silent. And you've got people in high positions out there sharing on social media that it was him that died. So that's where this is all coming from. If he's alive, why be silent? Why be silent? Why isn't a close friend, family member, anyone at this point stepping up and saying, it's him, he's deceased? Unfortunately, like, we don't have that yet. Maybe it'll pop up today. I mean, something's got to give. Something's got to give. Either he's dead or he's not. Either it's got to become official at some point, but how many days later? It's very odd. And people just don't buy into the narrative that's being pushed around it if he did die. They're suspecting foul things through and through. What I'm saying here is we can't even confirm what's going on because they won't say anything. That is super suspect. With many days now passing, you've got a lot of other outlets out there. If you do a search reporting on this and making statements, but it's kind of everything I just told you kind of regurgitated with nothing new. So, what happened to David Wilcock? We don't know for sure, but this is all of the latest. If I get a confirmation, which I'll be watching for, and if you guys find anything, let me know in the comments. Please don't be rude. Email me, dabu7@yahoo.com if you've got anything, any links. And I'll update on this on the live stream tonight, or as soon as I get information. I'll be posting it on X and pinning it in the comment section once we get a confirmation either way of what's going on here. But questions flying, and a lot of people just upset that they can't get a solid answer, and that if it is true, and some people are leaning that way, they're like foul play all day here. And like, we're not going to stop in terms of an investigation here until we get to the bottom of this and all the answers and the truth. Again, join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Dabu77. Updating to this and a lot more. Much love.